Okay, guys, are we live? Okay, we're back live on the live stream, so we're gonna now take it to the tables. Can we start here in the middle? Guys, let's wrap up the conversations. Who wants to speak on your idea? What was your topic? Space. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Hi, guys. Hello. Thank you. All right, we're gonna start in the middle of the room on space. So it's either an existing company we should know about or an idea. Who wants to speak?
So we spoke about space, different ideas. There's a lot happening in space, and one that came was mining in space. And there is a company I met recently from YC. They are planning to mine platinum on asteroids and bring it back to Earth. So it's mining in space.
What's the name of the company?
Astroforge.
Okay. So Astroforge, our first company to look at for all of you investors in the room. Let's go to this table. Did you guys, you were on what topic? Longevity. Okay, who wants to speak? We're gonna make Nicole do it. Nicole Patrice de Membert.
So I think we didn't follow the assignment. We don't have a company to tell you about, but we had a really good ethical conversation on the importance of longevity or how it could be harmful, intergenerational, will. So when I worked at Founders Fund, something that was posed to me in a question in 2009 was how long I thought I would live. And I was like, oh, 85 to like 100. And they just kind of laughed. And they were like, we do a lot of longevity investments. You might want to like kind of change your thoughts on this, and this is why. And the idea was, if someone's building life-saving technology, wouldn't we want them to live 20, 50, 100 years longer to continue developing it? And we'll never have, recently we'll maybe change that, but our brain-to-brain transfer is not so hot right now. So when someone passes, we always lose a lot of information. And so that really got me thinking about it. Of course, they brought up some of the things on, we have less birth rates, so if we have people living longer, and then, but with the temperatures going up, so that was a lot of our talk, and I think we all had a few good laughs on it.
So is maybe the big idea that's not a company is how do we do brain-to-brain transfer? But I feel like we need that in companies. We have half our people here are new this year in Davos. Half our team of 45 people are new. At least 10 of them are 21 or like 20. It's crazy how young and Gen Z our team is here. It's amazing. And they're learning and inventing on the fly, but I wish we had the institutional knowledge of some of our many people who've been here before. So I think it goes beyond that, but to companies. Okay, you guys were climate, right?
Yes, we got Wendy.
Okay. So hi, I'm Wendy, New York City. Let's see. Oh, we're just gonna talk about? Okay, yeah. So I'm invested in a company called Producers Market. They're basically bringing traceability, transparency on the blockchain to bring farmers direct to retailers. And so we're a partner in the largest regenerative farming project in the world in Andhra Pradesh, India, with 6 million farmers. We partnered with the government of India, United Nations Environmental Program. And what it is they found a high suicide rate with the farmers. And when they did the study, they realized, whoa, it's because of the pesticides and fertilizers. So this is the largest project in the world that is basically transitioning those farmers from using pesticides and fertilizers to back to the old ancient Indian practices of manure, sugarcane, and urine. And so that's the project I'm invested in, and if anybody wants to get, and they're doing the same thing now in the Caribbean and Jamaica. So it's very exciting. And so that's what's really good for the climate and carbon.
Yeah, and also regenerative agriculture. The latest evidence is important. The latest evidence shows that regenerative agriculture is the only way that we have a chance of having enough food long term, because we have to protect the soils and regenerate the soils, and to become a carbon sink. Like the third most important source of carbon, solution is regenerative agriculture at large. So super important solution there. It's great for climate. Okay, let's go to you guys, and the topic was crypto, right? Crypto?
So we're a crypto table, yes. And I'm Gennaro Durso from Miami. And aside from that, I'm working on a pharma DAO, but that's another story. But I want to just raise a very basic principle around decentralization. One of the things that's lacking there is sustainability, as far as I see. We could argue whether, some people actually believe crypto isn't even real, as we just heard in our discussion. But let's assume it is, because I think all of us here believe it is. But how do we sustain decentralization? I think that's really the key question. And where do we use decentralization? Because even people, as Steve Jobs mentioned, great business structure is decentralization with autonomous subgroups. And think about that. That's kind of interesting, because what it basically says is that we might need some centralization or governance that's not widespread across the entire body that's decentralized, or the DAO, but there's pockets of governance that run the things they know best. And this comes down to community. When you build a community, you need people in the community that do things they actually understand how to do. Grow food, make drugs. And one of the things that just came up from one of my texts is we're running out of the ability to make generic drugs. We can't afford to make them because there's not enough profit margin. But what does that mean for us as people? We might die because we don't have antibiotics or we don't have heart medications we need. This is a real crisis, and I think decentralization can fix it. And that's what I'm here about, trying to understand if there's a way we could get enough people together to say, let's decentralize big, important missions that typically cost a lot of money, but because we can now distribute it among millions, we can lower the risk, get the job done, save lives, and it's not all about wealth. It's about saving lives. So that's part of our discussion, because we have a tendency in this table to discuss about a lot of things, and I'm sort of yeah. But he said he was in some discussions where people, very high-level people, were like, crypto isn't real. And how do you deal with that, right? Well, you deal with that by showing a use case for crypto and building companies in decentralized space that make money, revenues, and generate a return to the people in the DAO or something. And then once you do that, you can't really say it's not real because it's working. And I would say dollars are as real as crypto or anything else for that matter, and you can't eat gold. So there you go. But going back to, I think it's all about community. Ultimately, we all have to come to grips. I think what you said, Lou, is 100% right. Communities are powerful, and they can get a return where the gold that starts, you can find some other gold underneath, but you have to dig for it. And the people have to dig together, because otherwise we'll never find it.
Thank you. Great talk. On that point, Eleanor Olstrom's work on holonics with regard to governance is something that you guys should look at, because it is absolutely crucial for building the next society. We've been working with the Burning Man organization. Our kickoff event this week was with Burning Man, looking at co-creating future societies. Back in 2020, this year it was the future society is real. And I think it's being driven so much, in particular by DAOs. I'd invite you guys to look at Propel, which is our DAO infrastructure support system, which allows for real-time voting, granulated voting, assigned voting, that's completely user-generated. And that's inside of every hub in hub culture. So you guys can use Propel. We'd love to talk to you about Pharma DAO. We're working on a studio DAO in Hollywood right now, but I think that is the answer. Okay, let's come back to this table, and then we'll go to my table at the end with some of my favorite people who I haven't seen in so long. Let's hear it.
All right, the examples I'd like to talk about is, I'm Francisco Veloso, I'm the Dean at Imperial College Business School, and I'll talk about an example of a climate, actually out of an alum, an alum from the business school that created a company called SonoAsh. And it's a beautiful example of how you can be very smart to try to create something practical in the circular economy. So what is this? 8% of greenhouse gas emissions come out of cement. So tackling cement is a big issue. What does SonoAsh do? They realize that there's a byproduct of coal production that went on for centuries that's impounded all over the world that creates a huge environmental liability under the, in the earth. Now, what they can do is they take this impounded ash that was a negative byproduct of coal production, they run it through a Stalnaker, the technology that they developed, and they transform it into a raw material that you can then use as green cement input, effectively creating a completely circular economy and a greenhouse, a green cement production. So they're in very early stages. They have an initial contract in, I think, Virginia to do some testings. And it's a great idea of how very smart thinking can combine something that's a byproduct in one place to solve a big climate problem in another. And I think this same type of thinking can be applicable in many, many other areas. So I'll just give you this testimony. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you. You know, this idea of like use, reuse, which for those of you who don't know the story of the Ice House, this is a use, reuse building. It's been built, thank you, Dean. This is the 6th time this building has been built, and it's built out of the same materials, polycarbonate and aluminum, Coke bottles and Coke cans. And it's really amazing that we've been able to use the same material over and over again to recreate a sustainable building in Davos. This building was created with William McDonough, and it's a really his vision for sustainability and circular economy. I love it. It's, you know, obviously very beautiful, but it has just the best energy because it's designed with intention and with sustainability at its heart. And I think the lesson that we can all learn from this room is that we don't have to compromise on beauty to be sustainable. And I really would love you guys to just take a second and kind of experience the room because it's really, really special. Okay, this table was longevity. Okay, who's gonna talk? Okay, this is my oldest bestie, Amanda Mosle Friedman. First time at Davos. I've been inviting her for like 10 years. She finally came. Dan Zimmerman, good friend of mine, working in crypto, decentralized tech. We all met Marin. What's your name again? Laura Herman. Laura works with Amanda.
My amazing superstar colleague.
Right. And we've also got Leaders on Purpose here. Leaders on Purpose worked with us in Glasgow to bring a whole bunch of people focused on the P and LOP, which is purpose. They are building the most amazing network of CEOs focused on purpose. And I'm so in awe of the work you guys are doing. When is your big summit?
September 21st through the 23rd in New York.
Yeah, so you gotta mark those dates. Oh, that's right during Climate Week, or right after?
Yes, during
Okay.
in collaboration with
Yeah, okay, so everybody's gonna be in New York, we'll all be there. Okay, Amanda.
Thank you so much. I'm with IP3, which stands for Peace, Power, and Prosperity. We're nuclear power. We are here because of Leaders on Purpose, welcomed by Stan, who for many years has invited me. But until I got involved with nuclear power, I didn't really feel I had a platform to come to Davos. I now have a platform. I come from my background is in African development. And a year and a half ago, I was invited to a meeting in London with a retired US Navy admiral who wanted to talk to me about nuclear energy in the African landscape. I didn't think I was the right person for the meeting, but I took it. And it actually changed the course of my life. And when we were asked about longevity, the first thing I thought of, and the first thing Laura thought of, was nuclear power, because nuclear power is critical to net zero. And our planet depends on us achieving net zero on an industrialized scale. We have a growing population. We have rising electrification needs. We have food security issues, and we have water security issues. What the future technology, current technology in small modular form and the future technologies of nuclear power can do is help us achieve abundance so that we can protect the world, provide for the world. The small modular reactors have the ability to desalinate water 100 times faster than any existing energy force today, and we can amplify manufacturing, create jobs, empower cities, and live in a time of abundance with nuclear power. So from a physical stance of longevity, I can't think of a better foundation. We need electricity and we need power. On an intellectual sense of longevity, which we didn't speak of at the table, but I just thought of, we're living in precarious times, and we all have values that we want to share and protect and further. And energy security is tied to national security, is tied to the protection of ways that we live, the freedom to have these kinds of conversations. And nuclear power is critical to energy security and national security, because each country is capable, with the right guidance and the most incredible and powerful regulations in place, of developing their own programs and ensuring their own futures independently. Go nuclear. And I'll actually joke, when I first met IP3, I was coming from the impact and development space, and I was like, yes, impact nuclear. And then we realized maybe there are better ways to say it, but it really is the most incredible. I'm dedicating my whole life to this right now, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, and thank you, Stan.
Great. All right, well, I want you guys to be able to enjoy some more time together. So thank you for coming to the Venn Digital Asset Fund lunch. Congratulations, and thank you, homies, for the people that we are working with and investing in. I'm just so excited to be able to showcase this year's investment portfolio with you. There are many other companies that we're investing in, but I'm just glad to have 2 female founders in the cohort this year. So Carrie and Baron, onward and upward.